The old grandfather clock in the hallway chimed, its deep, hollow tones echoing through the silent house. 12 strikes. Midnight. I always hated that clock. It felt less like it was telling time and more like it was counting down to something. Tonight, that feeling was stronger than ever. I was house-sitting for my aunt and uncle in their sprawling, isolated home in the countryside. They'd left me a long list of instructions, but the last one was underlined 3 times. Don't open the door for anyone after dark, especially not at midnight. I'd laughed it off as them being overly protective. Now, alone in the vast, creaking house, it didn't seem so funny. I was curled up on the sofa, a book lying forgotten in my lap, the blue light of my phone the only thing pushing back the shadows. A floorboard creaked upstairs. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs. It's just an old house, I told myself. Old houses make noises. I tried to focus on my phone, scrolling through endless feeds of happy people living normal lives, but my ears were strained, listening for any other sound. Silence. The kind of silence that's so deep it feels loud. Then, another creak. Closer this time, right at the top of the stairs. I held my breath, my knuckles white as I gripped my phone. The house was supposed to be empty. I slowly stood up, my legs feeling like jelly. Every horror movie trope screamed at me to stay put, to hide, to not be the idiot who goes to investigate the noise. But this was real life. It was probably just the wind, or a branch scraping against a window. I had to check. I had to prove to my overactive imagination that there was nothing to be afraid of. I crept towards the hallway, my bare feet silent on the cold wooden floor. The staircase loomed before me, a dark maw leading up into blackness. I couldn't see anything, but I could feel something. A strange, cold draft that seemed to slither down the stairs and wrap around my ankles. A cold that had nothing to do with the temperature of the house. And then I heard it. A soft, rhythmic sound from upstairs. Thump, thump, thump. It was slow, deliberate, like someone dragging something heavy across the floor. My blood ran cold. This wasn't the wind. This wasn't the house settling. I backed away slowly, my eyes locked on the top of the stairs. I needed to get out. My car keys were on the kitchen counter. The front door was just a few feet away. But as I turned, a new sound stopped me dead. A soft, gentle knock at the front door. Knock, knock, knock. 3 distinct raps, polite but firm. My heart leapt into my throat. The clock had just struck midnight. Don't open the door for anyone, especially not at midnight. My mind was racing. Who could possibly be here at this hour, in the middle of nowhere? A lost traveler? The police? But the knocking didn't sound urgent. It was patient. Calm. Too calm. I crept to the peephole, my hand trembling. I peered through the small, distorted glass. The porch light cast a weak, yellow glow on the empty porch. There was no one there, not a soul. Just the swaying trees and the dark, empty road beyond. A wave of relief washed over me, so powerful it almost made my knees buckle. It must have been a branch hitting the door, a trick of the wind and my frayed nerves. I let out a shaky breath and leaned my forehead against the cool wood of the door. Then the knocking came again. Knock, knock, knock. This time it was louder, more insistent. My heart pounded in my ears, drowning out all other sound. I jumped back from the door as if it were electrified. I looked through the peephole again. Still nothing. Just the empty porch, the swaying shadows, the silent, watching night. A chill snaked its way up my spine. This wasn't right. I backed away from the door, my eyes wide with terror. And that's when I heard a voice. It was a whisper, right beside my ear, seeming to come from inside the house itself. "Let me in!" I screamed. I spun around, but there was no one there. The hallway was empty. The living room was empty. But the voice had been so clear, so close. "Please, the voice whispered again, this time sounding like it was coming from the top of the stairs. "It's so cold out here." I looked up into the darkness, my body frozen in place. I couldn't see anything, but I could feel a presence, a heavy, ancient wrongness that filled the air and made it hard to breathe. The thumping sound started again from upstairs, louder this time. Thump, thump, thump. It was moving, coming down the stairs. Something was coming down the stairs. I didn't wait to see what it was. I bolted. I ran into the kitchen, fumbling for my car keys on the counter. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grab them. The front door rattled in its frame, the knocking now a frantic, thunderous pounding. "Let me in!" the voice roared. No longer a whisper, but a guttural scream that seemed to shake the very foundations of the house. I could hear splintering wood. It was breaking through the door. I scrambled for the back door in the kitchen, my only other way out. I threw the bolt and yanked it open, stumbling out into the cold night air. The pounding on the front door stopped. An eerie silence fell over the house once more. But I knew I wasn't safe. I could feel eyes on me from the dark windows of the house. I sprinted across the wet grass to my car, my lungs burning. I jammed the key into the ignition, my hands fumbling. The engine sputtered, coughed, and died. "No, no, no, please!" I sobbed, trying again. It turned over, roaring to life. I slammed the car into reverse, not bothering to look behind me, and sped down the long, dark driveway. In the rearview mirror, I saw the front door of the house swing open. A figure stood silhouetted in the doorway. It was tall and unnaturally thin, its limbs long and spidery. It didn't move. It just stood there, watching me go. And even from that distance, I could see it was smiling. A wide, predatory smile that stretched too far across its shadowy face. I never went back to that house. My aunt and uncle sold it a few months later. They never told me why they put that warning on their note. And I've never ever stayed up until midnight again, because some doors are meant to stay closed. And some things, once they start counting down, can't be stopped. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more chills. Stay safe out there.